Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So today is the day that we have all been waiting for, because today we find out whether or not the Supreme Court will actually hear one of these so-called assault weapons ban or mag ban cases and finally put an end to the lunacy of the inferior courts, the appellate courts, and some of the decisions that they've been making, flying completely in the face of Bruin. So something needed to be done about it. The Supreme Court has decided that they're going to at least acknowledge these cases and potentially take them up. And today we found out what they're going to do with them. So let's talk about what happened. Hey, real quick, if you haven't done so already, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free, it only takes a second, but it really does help us out here quite a bit, and it helps us spread our message as well. And if you want to stay up to date on your rights, hit that little alarm bell, and that'll let you know when videos like this come out. So with that being said, let's get to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. We'll start off with Bianchi v. Brown. That is the challenge to Maryland's so-called assault weapons ban. And that case was rejected. So the Supreme Court is not going to go any further with that case. The Fourth Circuit is going to have to figure that one out. And to be honest with you, that's not really surprising to a ton of people, because that case is still kind of ongoing and the Supreme Court doesn't usually like to step in with decisions on stuff like that. So that kind of moves us on to Illinois. So the Supreme Court had multiple cases from the state of Illinois challenging pretty much the same type of bans. And I was very hopeful that the Supreme Court would take up at least one of these cases. Now, it's bad news, but it's also not the worst news. So basically, the Supreme Court has decided to hold on the cases that were presented from the state of Illinois. So they didn't reject them. They didn't send them back down to the Seventh Circuit. They basically are rescheduling these for conference. The one that we know for sure, which is Harrell v. Raoul, that has actually already been rescheduled for this Thursday. So the reason I say this is bad news but not the worst news is because the Supreme Court could have simply rejected all of them, but they didn't. They decided to move them down the line, and at the time I'm making this video, we already know that one is rescheduled for conference on Thursday. Now, there's a lot happening behind the scenes here, and that extra time could actually work out in our favor. It could mean that they are heavily researching these cases, because each Supreme Court justice has a few interns. Each one of those interns is going to be doing research on this stuff, and they may need more time before they present it to the justice. So it could mean that there's a lot going on behind the scenes and they just haven't figured everything out quite yet, and so they need more time to do so. It doesn't necessarily mean that they've just ignored it or they're going to deny it, or, you know, it's not really saying what's going to happen in the future. It just could simply mean that they need more time to research before they come up with a decision. And so knowing that we at least have something on the schedule for conference on Thursday still means that we have hope. And I think that's the biggest takeaway here. There's actually a lot of people and 2A scholars out there who kind of expected this, who said that they were expecting it to go to one and maybe even another conference after that. So we'll see what happens, but all hope is not lost. One got rejected out of Maryland. The Illinois ones look like they're all going to be moved to another conference. And again, we'll see what happens, but from what I understand, it won't be until next Monday, so a week from today, before we actually know whether or not that next conference, the one that's going to happen on Thursday, yields any results. So again, we're kind of moving week by week here to see what happens. And until they're absolutely rejected, there's no need to lose hope about this, because the Supreme Court absolutely needs to buckle down on this one. There is too much going on in the lower courts. The lower courts are purposefully misreading Bruin, misinterpreting Bruin. They're doing it on purpose so that they can uphold and maintain these bans in these different states. And the Supreme Court needs to say, hey, look, inferior court, hey, lower court, you guys are doing it wrong. You're reading this wrong, and we're going to make this correction so that it doesn't happen again. The Supreme Court needs to step in on this one. Obviously, they're going to get more cases in the future. California is probably going to end up back there as well. So again, this is something that needs to happen now so that we don't have our rights infringed on for any longer. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Again, that's the most up-to-date information that I have, at least at the time that I'm filming this video. If anything changes or new information comes out, then I will let you guys know about that as well. But again, I just wanted to get this out to you because it's breaking news happening today. And it's, you know, I mean, it might not be great, but it's not the worst. Thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.